pleased to introduce you to our presenter, which is Erica St. Andre, sorry about that, Erica, of the California Department of Education. And welcome, Erica, and I will turn it over to you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Vince and Karen, and welcome to our session here. And I want to start by just apologizing that I don't have video, and this being, you know, kind of the way of the world right now, this was just sort of Murphy's Law today. So today we're going to be talking about 3 social and emotional learning, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics competencies. And our purpose is going to be bringing social emotional learning and STEAM competencies together. My name is Erica St. Andre. I'm an education programs consultant at the California Department of Education, where I work on several projects around social emotional learning. I'm excited to be with you this morning to talk about the idea of weaving SEL into and through the entire instructional day. Today, our focus will be on the intersections between SEL and STEAM, with a particular focus on the A in STEAM, which is arts. I'd like to start by asking each of you to introduce yourself with your name, your role, and workplace location. And then if you'd like to share something that you have created or made during the last 5 months of quarantine. So just in the chat, if you're able to. Apricot jam. Thank you, Nathan. That sounds amazing. Hi, Marianne. Oh, bullet journaling. I've been hearing about this. Awesome. Painting cabinets, making cards. Wonderful. Well, go ahead and keep adding those ideas into the chat. And it's exciting to hear, oh, beekeeping, that people are engaging in some creative activities during this unusual time. Okay. So the CDE partners closely with the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, or CASEL, in our work around SEL. CASEL's 5 core competencies of self-awareness, self-management, responsible decision-making, relationship skills, and social awareness are the competencies that adults and students need in order to function effectively in the school setting. These competencies are best thought of as skills to be learned and practiced in classrooms, across schools, and in homes and the greater community. I will reference these core competencies in the activities we will look at this morning. The CDE has 5 guiding principles related to our work around SEL, which are to adopt whole child development as the goal of education, commit to equity, build capacity, partner with families and community, and to learn and improve. The CDE has also created a guide to resources around SEL in collaboration with the Orange County Department of Education and the Butte County County of Education, which can be accessed at the CDE website. These resources are regularly being curated and added to as we learn more about SEL and best practices. The activities that we're going to look at this morning draw from the SEL strategies we've already looked at, as well as hitting on STEAM topics with a focus on the arts part of STEAM. CDE has just updated its arts framework, which you can check out on the CDE website, and it's linked in this slide deck. All three activities have been designed with virtual learning in mind and are appropriate for almost all grades, transitional kindergarten through grade 12, and are intended to assist teachers in building a sense of community amongst their class at the beginning of what will be a very unusual school year. We know that it is critical for teachers and their students get to know each other and to develop relationships in order to be an effective and safe learning environment. And each of these activities is designed with that overarching goal in mind. Okay, so we are going to jump into our first activity here, which is called Describing Pictures. It addresses the CASEL core competencies of self-awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. You could either choose one student or a group of students for this activity. So student A finds a picture or artifact in their home that they feel describes something important about them. Without showing it to anyone, student A describes that artifact to the group or class. The group or class listens to the description and sketches or draws what they think they heard. They then take turns showing the group or class and student A what they created. Student A then shows the actual artifact and explains why they chose it. Classmates are then offered a chance to ask questions of student A about their artifact. So we're actually going to practice this activity. And I want to okay. So what we are going to do is, if you just have a little scrap of paper, a sticky note, anything to sort of sketch on, and either a pen or a pencil, whatever you happen to have at hand, I am going to begin describing an object, and we are going to see how we do with this. So this is kind of truly an experiment. Okay, so the object I have is about 1.5 inches long. It is green. It is made out of wire that is bent into a sort of long oval shape. And the wire is coated in like a plastic coating. Okay, so hopefully you are able to get some sketches down. So let's see if anyone, first of all, has any clarifying questions they'd like to ask, either in the chat or on their video. Oh, good question. Catherine's asking, is it a solid oval? No, it is not. The wire is very, very thin. And so it's kind of some sort of two open concentric ovals. Is it something that you wear? No, it is not something that you wear. It is completely green. Okay. Uh-oh, Trini's on to it. Okay. Yes, it is something that you use to hold papers. So here's what we're going to do. If you are able to, I am going to, I've just copied and pasted into the chat a gallery walk where if you're able to take a quick picture of your drawing and add it onto a slide for the gallery walk, we should be able to start to see people's drawings and what they came up with. So you can just take a moment on, just choose a slide and see if you're able to add in your image. And if not, that's okay. We will look at it a different way. So as we're trying to add our images to our gallery walk, okay, I'm going to change the permission. These are all the real life things that can happen. Okay, I've changed the permission to anyone can edit. So what I have found as formerly being a teacher and a principal and now working at CDE is that I'm really relying on the expertise of everyone around me, including kids and teachers and other people to kind of help out. One of the ideas of this activity is that it's a window into your students' sort of home life and interior life, and that the objects they pick will help you in those initial days of getting to know them and in them getting to know each other. And we know just how important that is in terms of building classroom community, particularly when we're looking at building a classroom community virtually, like we are this school year. Okay. So we have Shannon has a picture of a paper clip. Kathy also has a picture of a paper clip. And I'll just, spoiler alert, that's exactly what it was. And I just happened to kind of pick something up off my desk. But I think metaphorically, I think I sort of feel like a paperclip in my family, one of the people who kind of keeps things together. And so I think that's one of the reasons I chose it. Anyway, if you're still adding your image, we'll give another minute or so to see what other people came up with before we move on to our next activity. Oh, awesome. Looks like we had a whiteboard image. Perfect. Great. Okay. Thank you for playing along with me on that activity, and hopefully you kind of have some ideas of ways that you would be able to have your students participate in something like that. And one of the other things I'm thinking of is like a classroom mascot or pet that you might be able to have your class sort of rally around, especially in this virtual environment, something along those lines. Awesome. All right. Activity number 2 is called Future Me, and it addresses the CASEL core competency of self-awareness. It's adapted from an activity in the book Play Like a Pirate by Quinn Rollins, which is a wonderful book, and I highly recommend it. Students are asked to create their future selves using a variety of templates available from the book and online. There are a million different superhero type templates that you can look for and really sort of tailor to your age range and grade range. In addition to the drawing, students are asked to write a description of what their future powers will be, including coming up with a name for their future self. So if a student wants to be a teacher someday, they might be Mr. Teach-tastic. Or if they want to be a scientist someday, their name might be Electron or something along those lines. And then again, students could upload their creations using a gallery walk like we did for the previous activity, or Padlet or some Jamboard, some other of the sort of sharing platforms that are available to us. And then activity 3, and they all sort of build on each other, is called Design Your Own Vehicle. And it addresses the CASEL core competencies of self-management, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. Students are asked to use any materials at their disposal, at home to design a vehicle. Students will need to explain the materials they used, whether that's Legos, cardboard, or a paper pencil drawing, the features of their vehicle, including its intended purpose, and the challenges they faced in creating it. Some potential extensions of this activity include math lessons related to measurement, rate, etc., and information about how vehicle design has evolved over the past century. So for example, one student might kind of study the evolution all the way from Henry Ford up to present time, or possibly into the future. Finally, as a nod to entrepreneurship, students might be asked to present their vehicle to a small group of classmates, with the group going through a process of narrowing their individual creations into one that they would then pitch to the whole class. I wanted to touch on equity and access in a distance learning environment because we know it's such a critical factor. So an important consideration for all the activities we discussed is access to materials. Please be clear with students that whatever materials they use are fine, and that there is no value placed on using complex materials rather than the value placed it is on the ideas, not the actual end product. And one thing that many teachers are doing, getting ready for the school year to start, is creating materials kits that families are able to pick up that have kind of a starter kit of paper, pencils, crayons, markers, scissors, and so those are some things that that schools and grade levels might consider as they are getting ready for school to start. So I wanted to open it up now to any questions that anyone might have, or any thoughts about any of the 3 activities that we looked at. Great question. Catherine's asking about recommendations for starter kits for middle school science. And so that's an awesome question. And I know that there are so many materials that are available online, but it really just doesn't hit on those tactile needs that students might have. So I would think for middle school, it might be something like a journal or some place for kids to be able to put sketches and notes of observations related to any phenomena that they're going to be discussing that year, as well as maybe some kind of easy measurement devices, whether it's a measuring tape or or ideas for them to access items that may already be in their house that could be used. And then if anyone else has suggestions for Catherine, I think that's a great question.
Hi, Erica. This is Vince. I just am noting the time. It's 11:15, so I think that'll have to be the final question.
Okay.
I certainly want to. So go ahead and wrap things up, unless you had a final comment that you needed to make.
Not at all. Just to thank everyone and thank you, Vince, for your support.
Absolutely. So certainly want to thank Erica for her presentation today, and thank you all for joining us. I know we had a few little technical glitches, so we appreciate your understanding and your patience. There's just now about 4 minutes until the closing general session. So, by all means, take a little bit of a break, but we hope that you will head over to the general session and check out the keynote. So again, thank you for joining today's breakout. Thanks again to Erica, and everyone be well. Take care now.